for decades. Julia Grosso from Vancouver to win it for Canada! Canada came! Canada conquered! Canada gold at Tokyo 2020!
You're listening to the Northern Fútbol Podcast, your home for everything Canadian soccer, with Brendan Dunlop, Alex Gangué-Ruzic, and here's your host, Ben Steiner.
Joining us now on the Northern Fútbol Podcast, we've got Alistair Johnston of the Canadian men's national team and Celtic, of course, one of the most well-spoken guys on the national team, so always excited to have you on the podcast, and of course, Brendan and Alex here as well. But AJ, how are things going in Kansas City so far?
Oh, it's been really good. Thanks for having me on. And yeah, it's nice to get back out here, getting some sun, be back with the boys. It's felt like a long time, but it also feels like it's only been a week since we've been together, since that Copa America run. So it's crazy how that football calendar works. But no, we're all excited to be back here and, a couple of big matches here to get going again. I'm just happy to be back and excited.
Were we able to get any time off between Copa America and getting things started with Celtic? It's been a pretty busy start to the year for you already.
Yeah, it was a short and sweet off season is what I'd call it. Got a couple weeks, 2 weeks tops, and got right back in. And my first day back at Celtic was match day -4 for our league opener. So it was about as long as they possibly could have given me. But at the same time, the body probably would have liked a couple more days. I think the missus would have liked a couple more weeks, but we're back into the swing of things and doing what I love, so can't complain with that.
Alistair, great to have you on the show. Just kind of wanted to hop in first on Celtic while we're there, because I'm sure we'll get to a lot of national team talk. You're obviously coming off a big Old Firm win over Rangers. You had an assist. Always nice to see. You have a pretty good record in Old Firms. I went back, 8 wins, 2 draws. You can keep that one to yourself. Basically, you play them a few more times this year, so I won't set you up to say anything that might get you in trouble over in Scotland. But what has it been like playing in such a historical derby, and what about those games where it seems to get the most out of you?
No, again, it's one of the reasons why you signed for the club. Two of the major driving forces is the Champions League, obviously, and getting a chance to compete for trophies and play against, playing one of the biggest derbies, exactly as you said, in the world, in world football. So, when you get into that stadium, you can just sense how much it means to the people, and it's really difficult to not get up for it in a way. I think that if you struggle to get up for that game, I don't really know what else to tell you. It's a dopamine rush to an extreme level that it really is uncomparable to anything, outside the world of sport. So, yeah, and again, even just the week leading up to it, the month leading up to it, it's funny, I'll go stopping at Costco, for example. I try and do it once a month or whatever it is. And if we're playing them at the end of the month, I'll have people coming up to me going, don't care about the next couple of matches. Just keep your focus on that one. It's like, okay, that's a bit mental. But so you can feel the build up and you can feel the tension within the city. And again, it's like that in Glasgow when you share a city with your rivals. It's pretty tense. But again, since I've been there, I've luckily been on the winning side for quite a few times, and it's made life a lot easier, made showing my face a lot easier around town. But again, you can just see the passion on the people and how much it means to them. And again, you can win, you could lose as many matches as you want, but if you win those games, it's gonna resound, and the people remember that. So it's been really important for me, since I've been there, that we've been on top, we've been winning trophies, and we've been on top within the city. So that's been important, and long may it continue.
And how about
I'm surprised you get to go to the local Costco, that you don't have to go to Falkirk to go to Costco, that you get to go to the local Costco on Derby. Is there a disguise? There must be a Canucks hat.
Trust me, there's a disguise. The AirPods are in. I would love to go to one of Falkirk if there was one in Falkirk. There's only 2 in all of Scotland. So I try and time it really well, a little early midweek, a morning, just try to get in there before. But no, that's one thing with Celtic fans and just Scotland in general, is that they can spot you from a mile away. And I always make the joke that I'm only famous when a 30-mile radius of Glasgow. When I leave that, I'm normally pretty good. But yeah, no, you try. I got the hat on, the AirPods on. Normally that's normally my catch-up time when I call my dad. The first thing he normally asks is, where are you? And I say Costco, and he knows, okay, it's a 45-minute chat just to get through that. but it's funny. Even then, the people still come up, they're tapping you and everything, asking for photos, and it's a good time. Again, it's not something that I'm going to have for the rest of my life. I've understood that. So while I'm over there in the fishbowl that is Glasgow, I'm going to enjoy it. And yeah, understand that it's not normal, but it's pretty cool at the same time.
Has that been a bit of an adjustment since coming over from MLS and being recognized as a bit of a superstar, at least within that 30-mile radius?
Yeah, that was the biggest thing I think for me, was understanding is that when I was playing in the MLS is you really only had to focus on the 90 minutes every weekend, versus in Glasgow, you have to be tuned in and mentally ready and prepared for all different types of interactions all week. Whenever you leave kind of the sanctity of your house, anything's fair game. And you got to understand that there's going to be cameras on you, there's going to be people on you, and it's not only just a certain demographic that knows who you are. I mean, I have grandmas coming up to me and tapping me on the shoulder like, you didn't play very well this weekend. And it's just like, it's a bit mental to like have that, you know what I mean? So, and that's something that I learned very quickly as well, is that they either love you or they hate you, but they all know who you are. And that's something that I think that I learned very quickly. And it took an adjustment period for myself. And it was something that, I realized that, I needed to probably, take a bit more time and be really smart with how I interact with people, just because it does play a major impact kind of on your quality of life. And, I had to really have a look at that and make sure that I was doing all the right things to make sure that I was the best possible situation when I came home, so that my missus wasn't feeling that same tension, that same pressure, because I think especially the first 6 months, I didn't truly understand, how much of a burden might not be the right word, but just how much of an effect it did have on me subconsciously. So I think that that's something that a lot of people don't understand when you play at these kind of clubs where there is that constant pressure, that, even just going to get groceries becomes kind of an ordeal. And that, it wears on you. It takes a lot out of you. So it was something that I almost needed to pace myself, not only on the pitch, but off the pitch as well in my daily life in order to get through. And I think that that's why I have a very, just a greater level of respect for all these top players that have gone over, been successful at these big clubs, but done it year after year. Guys, we have so many legends on our team right now, between Cal McGregor, James Forrest, guys like that, who have been playing for Celtic for, over a decade and will continue to live in Glasgow for the rest of their lives. So they won't know anything other than this fishbowl. But for me now, to have seen it now for just over 18 months, I understand how difficult that is to play and live at that level. You have to have your poker face and your best game at all moments, both on and off the pitch, and that takes a lot out of you. So I have a greater appreciation for that, and a great understanding of what a commitment that really is to play at these kind of top clubs.
Alistair, so you're going from Rangers and Celtic to Canada, USA. You're like the most suited person for rivalry week here. This is a very different matchup, of course. You've got Jesse Marsch on the touchline. The Canadian program and the American program are very different situations than they were Nations League in 2019, a few years ago. So what's it like matching up against them now, and just how you've seen the program change, even just since you've made your move to Celtic over the last 18 months? Both national team programs are in very different situations, and this kind of is a whole new slate.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. We're both definitely on different trajectories, maybe in different stages kind of the trajectories, I guess you could say, but both with very exciting young player pools. Again, we're both kind of going through the new manager thing. Obviously with them, we're waiting to kind of see if Pochettino gets announced, when, if it happens. But obviously with us, we're still kind of on that new manager bounce as well. We're still learning the system. We've got new guys coming in again this window to try and learn it. And it still is an adjustment period. Again, I think that we were all very pleasantly surprised. The gaffer himself would be the first to say it, with, how quickly we kind of took to his style of play, and how quickly, we were competing against some of the top teams in the world in Copa America. So in terms of building on that, this is a great opportunity to go out there and show it against one of, the premier teams within this, within our own region. And again, the US, they've got a ton to play for as well. It's an extremely talented player pool. I don't think that, that is ever kind of lost on anyone. We know how good they are. They've been a difficult opponent for us, ever since I've been in the program, and obviously before I came in as well. Them, of course, also playing at home. it's never an easy place to go. So we're kind of curious to see exactly what they throw at us. Obviously, there might be some changes with the new manager coming in place, interim at the moment, to kind of see if, maybe we're going to see some new tactical switches. I haven't exactly seen their squad yet, but I think there was a couple new names. So again, it's going to be kind of a feeling out process for both teams, trying some things out. And again, that's what these friendlies are for. We're both building towards 2026. But at the same time, it's a rivalry. It's exactly that. It's competitive. We want to win. We want to have the bragging rights. And they're going to have the exact same feelings as well. So I think that leads to a pretty good game and a pretty, fiery one potentially. But hopefully we can just put our best foot forward and continue to grow from where we left off at the end of Copa America, because, we have serious aspirations going into 2026. And this is, again, another great test for us.
Well, Alistair, kind of to that point, in terms of just the adjustment under Jesse Marsch, I'm kind of curious, under John, a lot you're playing right center back. Even if you're playing right back, it's a little more defensive. It's a little more of a build out kind of role where you're involved in possession. Now, Jesse, it's more maybe a bit more up and down, traditional overlapping right back, kind of what we've seen at Celtic. What have you found adjusting to that role? And have you found that what you've done at Celtic has kind of helped you, knowing that, okay, I'm kind of used to some of these things where you're overlapping a bit more, also inverting as well as you can kind of do, and just having that flexibility in possession?
Yeah, it's been actually really interesting since the Gaffers came in and kind of how he wants to use me, because it's been similar, and there's been obviously some new things as well. So it's almost been a hybrid between what I did previously under John and kind of what I do at Celtic, where it's finding that balance between, we will still build up in a three sometimes, and I'll kind of play that center back role. But then also he still gives me the freedom to go forward, which I had under John. But defensively, as we did under John, we're kind of defending in the back four, but we're more aggressive, I'd say. And I think you could see that kind of in how we played and how he wants me to play, especially with Fonzie on the left side, myself, Richie, whoever it is. We're being super aggressive with our positions and, just really going at people. Even when they have the ball, they're in possession. We don't really let teams get comfortable. And that's been a big thing of, how Jesse's always played with his system, his style of play. It's front foot, it's constantly pressing, and it's making teams uncomfortable. And at the end of the day, that's kind of what is modern football. And I think for our team, when you look at our player pool, it fits our player pool really well. We're young, we're athletic, we're hungry. So I thought that it was always going to be kind of a really good fit for myself and the whole group in general. So I've enjoyed it. It's been different in terms of, defending as a fullback. Generally, you're taught when it goes out to the winger, you go out there, you get close, but then you gear down and you kind of do your basics, your 1v1 defending, move your feet. He's been very strong with us fullbacks. You go out there and you go through the ball. And if the guy skips by you, don't worry, because the next player is flying in. And there is a lot of trust that needed to be built. That, okay, if I do go flying in, the guy does skip by me, that next player will be there. And I think that was kind of my worry at the beginning, is that, okay, if one man is off, you can be made to look really silly as a fullback, especially. So that was been my most, kind of the thing that I've been most impressed with over this Copa America that we had this summer, was that how quickly everyone bought in and realized that, look, if we move as a unit, an 11-man unit, how good we can be. But as soon as one person takes just a second off for a playoff, how quickly you can get cut apart. And that's what modern football is. So I've really enjoyed that. And you can see how much just discomfort we've caused teams. And it's cool to see when, you watch video, obviously, of all these top opponents that we played, in previous games, and how comfortable they could look. And then you go out there and you play our brand of football, and you can just see the chaos that you're causing, and how quick it then, because we're defending with such intensity, we then attack with such intensity. When you're defending with that front foot mentality, then all of a sudden you win it. It's bang, bang, bang. And it's not slow. Everything's fast. And I've really enjoyed that. And again, I think as we build into 2026 and we're trying to get more and more of the country on board with us, you can't just go into these big matches, sit back, hope for a draw or something like that, hope to hit them on one counterattack and get a result and expect that to be the thing that, pulls over neutral fans who aren't really big football fans to get on the bandwagon. No, you need to go toe to toe and show that, you know what, no, we're for real. And not only are we going to compete, but we're going to be entertaining to watch. And I think that we proved that. And I think that you saw that within the viewership numbers within Copa America, is that not only do you need to be successful, but you need to be a team that people, are proud of, that watch that and go, yeah, I want to watch that again. I want to be a part of that. I want to be a Canada soccer fan. So again, I think that's something that Jesse's brought into this program. It's been really exciting. Again, all my family is told that being back in Canada, just the excitement that's kind of just been around the country with that. And I think that that's really important that we continue to build on that. Because again, we aren't going into this World Cup like maybe we did a little bit in Qatar, where, we were maybe just a little happy to be there. Of course, we deep down, we had obviously higher expectations, but at the same time, there wasn't a ton of outside pressure on us at that World Cup. This one, though, I think there will be outside expectations, and there's going to be extremely high expectations within our group, because we know now, especially after that Copa America performance, with another, 2 years under our belts of work under this manager, the sky really is the limit for this group. So that's exciting as well. So that was kind of a long-winded answer into how things have changed and how my kind of role is under this new manager. But I think that kind of summarizes the identity that he's brought in and how he wants to play and how it's going to kind of look and continue to evolve as we go forward here.
And I guess just lastly, you're going to go back, you're going to play in the Champions League with Celtic. What do you think of this new Champions League format this year?
No, it's something different. And again, 8 matches instead of 6. It gives us, potentially a greater chance with how many teams make it into either that. I think it's the top 8 that get automatically through, and then the following 16, there's definitely a higher % chance that you get out of your group, or so as you want to call it, and have a chance to play more knockout round football. And that's something that, again, Celtic Park it's amazing at those Champions League nights. So to get an extra group stage game, having 4 home games, 4 away, and then having a chance to, a better chance of getting out of that group stage, it's exciting. I think that we're all looking forward to that. Again, it's one of the massive draws of playing for a club like Celtic is those Champions League nights. Hearing that anthem at Celtic Park is truly special. So again, I looked at our draw. I think that there's a lot of potential there for us. But at the end of the day, we got to go out there and take care of business. So it'll be a really exciting next couple months with that getting going shortly.
Alistair, last one for me. Again, appreciate the time you've taken to give us today. Just on that point, Champions League, growing up watching, that's the pinnacle of soccer. You're at Celtic, a club where, for you guys, it's not just winning every trophy, it's winning every game. You draw, you lose, there's a certain pressure. Now with Canada, you guys are looking to take that next step. Jesse's talked a lot about a certain kind of swagger, a certain kind of personality, and the logical next step for a lot of people is going out, winning a trophy. Now that you've been in an environment where you've seen what winning a trophy can do to players, to a club, how does that excite you for that next step for Canada? How important will it be to go out and now try to win a Nations League or a Gold Cup or both? Is that kind of next step for your group?
Yeah, of course. We've got trophies on our minds. It's always every single competition that you enter, you don't envision yourself finishing third. You envision yourself lifting that trophy at the end of it. So again, Nations League, Gold Cup, we do have, motivation there that we want to go in there and lift the trophy. But at the same time, we do understand that where we are in this cycle with the gaffer is that we're still at the beginning. So we're not getting too ahead of ourselves. If the trophies come, they come. If not, we're not going to, be pounding our heads against the wall saying, is it not our time yet? We're ready. We're willing to play the long game. But at the same time is that we do truly believe that within this group, we have enough quality and talent and also potential, to continue to grow where we are competing for trophies, constantly year in, year out, whether that's Gold Cups, Nations League, or whatever the tournament is. So, that's kind of the plan. We'll take it step by step here. Again, these next couple of windows are going to be big for us to get into that Nations League final, ideally. I believe that's in March, semifinal and final. So hopefully we can get there. And we're in a good vein of form. And once you get there, again, that'd be just 2 matches. Anything's possible. So, yeah, we've got a lot of, confidence within the group for that. But I don't think we're putting any pressure on ourselves like maybe we had previously. Remember that last Nations League, we were a bit more vocal about that. But I think right now, we understand with where we are in this cycle that it's still young. But deep down, we do have the confidence that, if it comes down to 2 matches, that we feel confident against anyone that we can play against in our region, that we can go and get that done.
Well, that's all we've got for this little NFP extra here, but thanks so much for joining us here, and make sure you get out to dinner on time.
Lovely. Thank you. I appreciate it.